Let us not forget everything that happens. It's by the will of Allah. Holy will. It's time to unite and stand, and we will be the best amongst men. It's not time to be extreme or do the unthinkable, but to stand together as one. Tune into Sunnah followers, streaming every day, various platforms. Trust me, you'll find a way. Sunnah followers.
Ina alhamdulillah, wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulallah. I want to welcome everybody to the class. Just was checking to make sure my sound was right. And before I begin the class, there's something that I need to address. But I'm willing to bet that the person I need to address it with is not here, which means I'm going to have to address it every day next week until I see the person's here so that the person will get the message. It's always something. I want everybody here to understand we're living in times of fitna. I speak about it all the time. I mean, this is nothing to panic and go crazy about, because what's happening in the world today is nothing. I repeat, nothing. I repeat, nothing that Allah and his prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam have not told us would happen. I mean, once you learn the religion, one of the benefits to being educated about this religion is life doesn't shock you. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Life doesn't come as a surprise to you once you truly understand your religion. Alhamdulillah, like I tell you all the time, I may not know how to cook. I don't know about the world. I mean, I talk a good game and pretend to be tough, but I'm a square. I really am. I'm a square. But one thing I do know about is Islam. This is my religion. This is my life. This is my existence. I understand what my purpose is, and I do understand this religion. And I want you guys to understand that when you reach that level of awareness, you learn to submit, which is a problem that the Muslims are having today. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said every nation of people have their fire worshipers. The fire worshipers of this nation are those Muslims who cannot accept the qadr or the decree of Allah. Those people who don't understand that everything good and everything bad comes from Allah. And as I taught you guys before, we have a group called the Mu'tazila. The Mu'tazila, they don't accept that Allah is the creator of evil. They believe that we as human beings create our own evil. And I hate to tell you guys, but that's the most prominent group of this nation. Most of the people here in America that you guys follow and listen to, who you guys think are people of knowledge and you love these people, they're Mu'tazila. And if you can tell, because they cannot accept that what's happening in the world today is happening because Allah decreed it. They don't believe in that. They believe that man makes evil. Allah doesn't create bad. So that's why they got all these videos out, with them speaking crazy and showing the true nature inside of themselves. But I want you guys to understand something else. Alhamdulillah, Many of you are new to my website, new to me, although I am not new on the scene. I was teaching Islam on the internet before any of these famous people. I was on here long before them because voice technology was invented with me and my website. So I was here long before them. It's just that you may not have come upon me, or maybe you've heard of me, but you heard the slander too, because that's what they do to the people of the truth, and you chose to ignore me, whatever. But I've been here longer than all of them. And I can tell you one thing, even though the majority of these famous personalities that you follow and hear and listen to on social media are of the Mu'tazila, 97% of them are Mu'tazila, 1% of them are the Qadarites, okay? There's still a certain adab or a certain behavior, a certain mannerism that you must maintain as a Muslim. Just because you happened upon my website and alhamdulillah, now you found a person that can break things down to you in plain, simple English. Now that your fitra, the fitra within you has been awakened, and now that the religion is starting to make sense to you, that still doesn't give you the authority nor the ability to try to chastise, admonish, or do anything else to anyone else. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Let me break it down. And I'm talking to you brothers, because you men have a problem with this, not the women. The women just get jealous and go off and crawl into a hole somewhere. But you brothers, when you think you can see, like I tell you guys, women, we suffer with, we're emotional. You brothers are egotistical. See how Allah created the two genders to complement each other. Whereas I am a woman and I may have a problem controlling my emotions. You are a man and you are very egotistical. And you don't want to accept the fact that you wrong about something, or you may be transgressing the limits. So I'm talking to you brothers who have wandered upon my website, and now you're starting to understand the religion. So now you think that you can advise somebody else who's on a higher level than you, even though that person may be twisted in some things. Because let me explain to you guys, nobody is perfect. No human being on this planet is perfect. We all make mistakes, including me. Sometimes I listen to my lectures, especially when I'm sleepy. When I ain't had no sleep, oh, I be talking sometimes and I be sleep. I'll say things like, whoa, Layla, you better wake up. Did you hear what you just said? Sometimes I'll make mistakes and I catch them. They weren't intentional, but I may have been tired. I may have been sleep talking, because I sleep talk a lot. None of us are perfect. The only human being that was perfect and never made a mistake in regards to religion was the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Do you brothers follow me? Okay? And our Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, taught us about what enjoining the good and forbidding the evil entails. He told us that there are some people who cause more harm than good. trying to enjoy the good. And also, there are some people who need to sit down, because even though they may want to enjoy the good and forbid the evil, you are so low. I repeat, you are so low. You are so low on the totem pole that ain't nobody gonna listen to you, because you're a peon. You're a peasant. Do you get where I'm going, brothers? Here you are. You've only been a Muslim for 2 years. Before converting to Islam, you were a pagan. You used to worship a cow. That's how low of a pagan you were. You would let a cow walk in front of you, even though your family was starving to death, but you wouldn't kill it because you believed that cow was a god. That's how low you were. But alhamdulillah, Allah has guided you to Islam. You've been Muslim for 2 years. Alhamdulillah, Allah guided you to Laila Nasheeba, who speaks plain, grassroots, broke down English. And she doesn't use a lot of Arabic terminology to confuse you. And she bases everything she says on what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and she gives you the understanding that those immediate companions had. So alhamdulillah, Islam is making sense to you now, but now you think that you can correct or advise a man who is a well-known scholar of the American ulama, to the point where you think that you can check this person because this person has one flaw, because you see one flaw with this person that you don't like. You don't like the fact that this person has a flag in his background, because you feel that the flag shows division, that the flag contradicts allegiance. Even if you believe that, and even if that were true, you who just 2 years ago used to let the cows walk in front of you and you would die rather than kill it because you didn't know that a cow is a cow and not a god. Now you think that you can advise a man who has spent all his life learning this religion and who has touched the heart of millions of Muslims around the world and woke them up and guided them to the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You think you can advise this man now? This man who has not only a PhD in the Quran, the correct way to recite it, and the understanding of its meaning, who also has a PhD in the science of hadith. And not only that, he has a PhD in geology, which is the science of man. You think when just 2 years ago you was praying to a cow that you can check and advise somebody, that you can send me, Laila Nasheeba, an email telling me that enough is enough. Either somebody advises this man or your reputation's on the line. Well, let me tell you, brother, my reputation is not on the line for nothing. Yours is. You understand? Because you fall in that category that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam warned against. The youth who are so emotionally riled up and who suffer with arrogance and egotisticalness to the point where they're causing more harm than good. Before you advise and enjoy the good, you're supposed to do what the prophet said, weigh the situation. You're supposed to look at the pros, look at the cons, ask yourself, would I cause more harm? That's number one. Number two, you're supposed to look at yourself. Who are you? Is a person going to listen to a you who was worshiping a cow 2 years ago? Or are they going to listen to this man who has devoted his life to keeping the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad with the understanding of the companions vibrant? Oh, yes. He got sick because life happens. Let me educate you, brother who used to worship a cow 2 years ago. Let me educate you. Life happens. Life is a test. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the stronger your faith, the greater your test. The people who are tested the most are the prophets of Allah, and after them, the scholars of this deen. This man that you send an email to me about saying enough is enough, he needs to be stopped. Let me tell you, that's the same thing Shaitan said. When this man came to America in the early 2000s, when the American Muslims were going through a great trial of Salafism versus extreme Salafism, and this brother set it straight. He said it straight due to his knowledge of the Quran and those hadiths that he memorized by heart, just like me. Shaitan was angry with him because he brought balance to America, to the South. He brought balance to the state of Louisiana that was going through the destructive Salafi movement. He brought balance to the state of Florida. He brought balance took it on further to the South Carolinas, the North Carolinas. And then he joined AMJA, which is the American Muslims Jurist Association, and became one of the fatwa researchers of it. Shaitan was angry with this man. So you know what Shaitan did? Shaitan did to him what Shaitan tried to do to Prophet Job, because remember, the true scholars are the inheritors of the prophet. And who was this man's teacher? First of all, he comes from a family of scholars. His father was a scholar. His grandfather was a scholar, and so forth, and so forth. And his roots go all the way to Prophet Ismail, radiallahu anha, he's a descendant, a direct descendant of Abraham, who was the one that Allah made as a friend. Shaitan was angry because of the balance this man brought to America, the Sunnah, whereas women are not oppressed. That was the main thing he taught. Happiness in the marriage. We're partners. We complement each other. Oh, you men, be kind to your wives. A woman doesn't have to cover her face, nor does she have to walk around in black. Who was his teacher? Not just his father, his grandfather, all the way to Prophet Abraham, alayhi salam. He studied directly under Sheikh El-Bani, who was a well-known scholar. He sat in the company of Sheikh Uthaymeen, another well-known scholar. And he knew Sheikh bin Baz. How dare you? So this man, he made Iblis angry. Remember, Iblis doesn't waste his time with people like you, my brother, because you're just a peasant. You're nobody. Remember, you were worshiping the cow 2 years ago. Iblis, he tries to attack the true scholars. So what did Iblis do to him? The same thing he did to his bloodline. Iblis attacked him through his health. This man was knocking on death's door. He died 10 times, but Allah brought him back. When Shaitan saw that Allah kept bringing him back, Shaitan attacked him through his brain, caused him to forget all that beautiful Quran he memorized by heart, caused him to forget those hadiths that he memorized by heart and even helped me to know the meaning of it in English. Shaitan took his memory away. But you know what that brother did? He still rose up through the mercy of Allah. Allah gave him back his health. Allah gave him back his speech. Allah taught him back how to walk. And Allah made him back to be the da'iyah and the caller to the truth that he is. So now, you think that because you realized that a cow is not to be worshipped, and because you finally understand what La ilaha illallah means, that you can send me an email telling me that enough is enough because a man has a flag in the background of his home, that either I advise him or it's my reputation. Well, I'm here to tell you, brother, I'm advising you. It's your reputation and it's your life. The flesh of the scholars is not a tasty treat to eat, brother. You have to be careful of what you put out of your mouth about other Muslims, especially the scholars. Those men, those women who have fought and sacrificed their life 10, 15 times for Allah. You have to be careful what you say about them. You better be careful You better learn how to do like the Prophet Muhammad said, shut your mouth. And if something bothers you, make dua and keep it moving, because you are a cockroach. You're just a cucaracha compared to him. And this is what the people did to Imam Bukhari. The same thing you doing to this brother here, who's a true scholar, who's paid his dues, who's proven his faith. They did the same thing to Imam Bukhari, accused him of being a deviant, accused him of thinking that Allah created the Quran instead of it being the words, just like you think that this brother is a heretic because he has a flag of Palestine. By the way, he is a descendant of Ismail. If anyone has the right to wear that flag, it's him. He's a descendant of them. You better shut it up, brother. You better fear Allah. You better ask Allah to forgive you for the filthy things that come out of your mouth. And as far as my reputation, they've been attacking me all my life. Who cares? I wear the crown of being the wicked old witch with dignity, humility, and balance. So I could care less about what you say about me. But you ain't gonna bring it here to nobody in my website, none of these brothers, none of my students. You can take whatever puck shots you want at Layla, but you keep Dr. Ibrahim Dormali's name out of your mouth. You are not clean enough to even pronounce his name. Do you understand? You just learned that a cow is not worthy of worship. He never worshiped a cow. Hello. So I hope this is clear. And I know I had a class to do today, but I am so upset that I'm not going to do my class. I have to go make some prayers because I don't like when people take puck shots at the true scholars of this religion. And I don't like when people take puck shots at anybody on my website. You understand? So I'm going to close out for tonight. You guys all have a good night. And inshallah, I'll see you all tomorrow. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika.